PR strategies, and carefully manufactured redemption arcs, what if I told you the best way for a public figure to defeat controversy is to ignore it? When celebrities are facing backlash, how they respond can make or break their entire reputation. Some choose to immediately give their side of the story to hopefully quiet the outrage. Some choose to issue a sterile and professional apology that was obviously written by a PR firm. Some even choose to make apology songs. But the most surprisingly effective strategy is to say absolutely nothing and see how the public responds. Some disappear from the public, some literally keep moving on like nothing happened, and others slowly yet strategically address controversies to give themselves the most favorable outcome. Today we're going to discuss all the different ways to address controversies, starting with Mr. Beast, who put on an absolute masterclass of how to save a reputation and skate past one of the biggest controversies of his career. Mr. Beast is the undisputed king of YouTube. With close to 400 million subscribers, he has transformed from just another internet personality into the face of a massive business empire. What started as simple challenge videos has become a full-blown production company, and according to Forbes, his personal net worth now sits at an estimated $500 million. His videos regularly pull in hundreds of millions of views, built on a simple but addictive formula: outrageous challenges, massive cash prizes, and a loyal cast of recurring friends. Mr. Beast also developed a massive philanthropic leg of his brand. He created an entire organization called Beast Philanthropy, where, unlike many other celebrities, he documents his progress so people can see the actual work he was donating to. He funded surgeries for 1,000 blind people so they could see again, planted millions of trees, and even traveled to Africa to help rescue child slaves. Each video receives hundreds of millions of views, and Mr. Beast is breaking records while still making a real impact on the world. However, his perfect public perception began to change in June of 2024. That was when his longtime collaborator and close friend, Ava Chris Tyson, was accused of child grooming. Leaked messages surfaced between Ava and her 13-year-old Discord moderator, LavaGS. In these disturbing exchanges, Ava referred to the underage moderator as Daddy, made numerous inappropriate jokes, and even promoted the work of NSFW artist Shadman, known for creating graphic art that includes depictions of CP. As internet detectives continued to investigate Ava's past, a growing pile of evidence packaged as a Reddit megathread revealed a long history of Ava's troubling behavior towards minors. Mr. Beast handled the crisis the way most corporations do. Like a true pro, he initially stayed silent to see if the controversy would blow over. However, after a massive eruption of public backlash, countless channels covering serious allegations related to the most famous YouTuber in history, he realized he needed to take action, and responded to this controversy with a sterile corporate PR statement. Over the last few days, I've become aware of serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts. During that time, I have been focused on hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure I have all the facts. That said, I've seen enough online and taken immediate action to remove Ava from the company, my channel, and any association with Mr. Beast. I do not condone or support any of the inappropriate actions. I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation and will take any further actions based on their findings. After this statement, he strategically avoided Twitter, which is the main platform where most controversies will gain traction and be discussed amongst millions of people. He regularly posted on Instagram and uploaded videos to YouTube, where his audience that loves him will drown out all of the negative comments. He also could control and censor negative comments on YouTube and Instagram, not saying he did, but he could have. He continued to promote his Feastables candy bar brand and even launched Lunchly in September of 2024. Lunchly could not have been launched at a worse time, or maybe it was actually the best time. He received backlash for making a knockoff Lunchables that was extremely lacking in nutritional value and could be added to the long list of borderline poisonous food that fills American supermarkets. Then again, this backlash took some of the attention away from the allegations that his day one best friend was allegedly an offender. He smiled through the chaos, and while the internet demanded answers, all they got was silence. I've been looking to find the best deal posted by Dogpack, a self-proclaimed former employee of Mr. Beast's company, was released. The videos pulled back the curtain on alleged misconduct within the entire Mr. Beast corporation. It was revealed that there was an actual legitimate registered offender working for Mr. Beast. They referred to him as Delaware. Mr. Beast's former employee, Jake the Viking, issued a statement on X saying that Delaware Delaware was his brother-in-law, is a registered offender, and alleging that Mr. Beast knew about the charges. Additionally, Dogpack claimed that the lotteries and challenges Mr. Beast hosts are also manipulated to encourage people to subscribe to his channels or purchase his products, hoping to win money or be featured in a video. He went even further, alleging that these lotteries were not only unethical, but also potentially illegal, raising serious concerns about compliance with gambling and sweepstakes laws. He went on to criticize the hypocrisy of Mr. Beast's philanthropic brand, highlighting that while Mr. Beast advocates for improving people's health, his products are simultaneously contributing to obesity and poor health. He pointed out that Mr. Beast runs multiple burger restaurants and sells chocolate bars to an impressionable, mostly young audience. Dogpack also noted how Mr. Beast allegedly tried to turn chocolate purchases into a lottery system to drive sales. His video got 15 million views and countless controversies were overwhelming the Mr. Beast empire. Jimmy remained quiet for 3 straight months, ignoring all outside noise and focusing entirely on promoting his brands and uploading content. When he posted a promotional image on Twitter for his video, 7 Days Exploring an Underground City, featuring other influencers like Kai Cenat and Logan Paul, the replies quickly turned hostile. Buddy is doing everything except for responding to the allegations. Jimmy, any updates on the Chris Tyson investigation? Why are you covering up for PDF files? After months of silence, Mr. Beast returned on November 1st, 2024 and addressed the controversy by sharing the results of the third-party investigation. Jimmy claimed that the legal firm conducting the investigation, Quinn Emanuel, had advised him to say nothing during the process. According to the investigation documents, the firm said, "We also requested that the current employees refrain from public comments to ensure the investigation yielded accurate information and that witnesses were not tainted." And of course, this company that Mr. Beast hired to investigate him found him not guilty. But this was a calculated strategy to keep controversy from spiraling and to prevent wild narratives from dominating the headlines. Mr. Beast was told to say nothing until the facts were in. Mr. Beast then sat down with YouTuber Oompaville for a 2-hour podcast to address all of these controversies. Another perfect strategic move. He decided to get interviewed by someone who does not normally interview people, someone who merely reacts to drama and is often lighthearted, unserious, yet trustworthy and loved by his fan base. Also, podcasts give the impression that conversations are not censored, edited, or scripted. The first question Oompaville asked was about Jimmy's silence, and this was his response.
You actually kind of laid out the timeline there. The Ava stuff came out, and I put out that tweet. We hired the investigators to go look into it. Part of that investigation is they recommended that I not talk about drama or really do anything online because it might influence witnesses or any people they might interview or ex-employees. So it's a little unfortunate because I told them, okay, I'll wait till the investigation is over. I believe that was literally like a week before the Dogpack video came out. Just in transparency, I've never done one of these like big investigations before. And in my head, it was gonna last like 2 or 3 weeks. It ended up taking a couple months.
Also, notice Jimmy's body language. Casually leaned back, feet kicked up, wearing a big cozy hoodie next to the fireplace. Everything about this gives the impression he is comfortable and not nervous. He actually sat in that same position for 2 hours, and he and Oompaville deep dove into every single controversy that was made against him. Jimmy's answers were often very unpolished, casual, and seemingly truthful.
Do you believe that you ran an illegal lottery? Was there any compliance, any steps taken to prevent this?
I don't think we did. I have people looking into it and like trying to pull the footage and figure it out. You know, he disproved the 2, which I mean, those were crazy. I don't want to just like speculate. I have a team looking into it. I don't think we did though. But regardless, just to be truthful, if people want a refund or think for whatever reason like we did something wrong, like I'll send you a link that you can just put in the description where they can get a refund. Maybe just throw it on the screen here.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, when I was a teenager, I didn't know what a background check was. I just hired a couple people there that wanted to help me make videos. One of them was the person named Delaware. And no, I did not know he was a registered sex offender. There's a rumor that's gone around that said that he sat me and my mom down and told us. Obviously, I don't remember that happening.
And while most people appreciated the detail in which he responded, others felt the calculated PR strategy made it seem disingenuous. One commenter pointed out that he denied being interviewed by CoffeeZilla, who is a massive YouTuber known for exposing cryptocurrency scams. Although Mr. Beast addressed the crypto scam allegations with Oompaville, many noticed Oompa wasn't fully educated on the topic. CoffeeZilla would have been able to see through the cracks of Jimmy's response and ask the right questions to get to the truth. truth.
When it comes to a lot of these like answers, it always just comes like every single thing that I've sort of heard so far out of all of this is just, I'm just being stupid, I guess. Okay, like, oh, I made a mistake. Oopsie daisy, I wasn't really thinking things through. Like, it always comes out like the actual response is always either trust me, bro, when it comes to the crypto stuff, because really all these things come out to just trust me, bro. Please just believe what I'm saying. Or it comes out to, you know, clearly him going, yeah, we made a mistake. I didn't know any better. I have a team looking into it. Yada. It's all just corporate PR nonsense response.
Objectively speaking, Mr. Beast put on a masterclass of a response to controversy. In the court of public opinion, anything you say will be used against you. Even a denial can backfire. The key here is patience. It seems overwhelming, but just don't make any sudden moves. Stay silent and keep working on whatever it is you're doing. During the silence, he kept uploading videos. He did massive collaborations with the likes of iShowSpeed, Kai Cenat, and even Cristiano Ronaldo. His content pulled tens of millions of views. His brands continued to grow. Eventually, people will forget, but he chose to respond after the noise died down to give off the impression that he has integrity and will honor his word. His casual nature of answering questions appeals to others' humanity, and because of this, he walked away mostly clean, barely harming his reputation. However, what happens when there is video evidence that almost 100% proves a public figure guilty, and the whole world knows it? What if the evidence is undeniable? Do they keep quiet when everyone is demanding answers? Well, no one tested this better than David Dobrik. David Dobrik started his creative career as a goofy teenager filming short skits on Vine, then moved to LA in the early 2010s to take content creation more seriously. When Vine shut down in 2017, he pivoted to YouTube. Within just a few years, he racked up over 10 million subscribers and became one of the platform's biggest stars. David became famous for his 4-minute and 20-second vlogs that would feature pranks, stunts, celebrity cameos, and a rotating crew of friends that his millions of fans loved. The group of friends would become known as the Vlog Squad. One of the most recognizable faces in the Vlog Squad was Jeff Wittek. Like David, he got his start on Vine before building his own audience on YouTube with a show called Jeff's Barbershop, where he interviewed guests while cutting their hair. Jeff became a regular in David's vlogs, always down to get involved in the chaos, whether it was a prank or a stunt. But his loyalty to complete David's vision would have dire consequences. During the pandemic, David took a hiatus and wanted to film a massive comeback video. The premise for this vlog was to put the squad through a series of difficult or adrenaline-filled challenges. It was almost like a knockoff episode of Fear Factor. David did not want to participate in any of the challenges, but participate as the host of the show. The first challenge was to go skydiving, which went great, so the Vlog Squad traveled to Lake Utah to film the second stunt for the video, wakeboarding with a rope tied to an excavator. And this is where things got out of control. Corinna Kopf went first and held onto the rope while David spun the excavator in a circle, almost losing control of the machine. As she swung in the air, she said, "You take things too far, David." Then it was Jeff's turn to swing from the excavator. He grabbed onto the rope and David turned up the intensity, spinning it much faster. Once he realized he put Jeff in a dangerous situation, he abruptly stopped the machine, causing Jeff to crash violently into the side of the massive metal machine. Right after the incident, Jeff was quickly rushed to a nearby hospital and immediately underwent an operation to stop the bleeding and treat all of his critical injuries, including an attempt to save his left eye. Jeff later confirmed that his injuries were extensive. "I was in a lot of pain. I tore some ligaments in my leg. I broke my foot. I shattered my hip. I shattered my skull in 9 places. I shattered my eye socket, and I almost died." The rest of the Vlog Squad supported him and were with him in spirit. However, David had different plans. Allegedly, while Jeff was in the hospital under heavy medication, David began gathering evidence to show that the incident was not his idea. He started by screen recording a DM he had received from Jeff shortly before the incident. The message was a post from 50 Cent featuring a video of a man swinging from an excavator and wiping out. Jeff had written, "Let's recreate this." When David later showed this screen recording on his podcast, viewers called him out not only for ignoring Jeff's condition, but also for trying to shift the blame onto him. Anyone notice that the post in the screen recording says 2 hours ago? He literally recorded the DM an hour after the incident, immediately trying to cover up. This strongly suggests that David was already thinking about damage control while Jeff was still severely injured in the hospital. After his initial injuries, Jeff returned to YouTube and continued his barbershop series, now incorporating his injury as a joke. Every time someone asked about it, he would joke through the pain, downplay the severity, and avoid the truth, mainly to protect his friend David. On different occasions, Jeff claimed he had fallen from a building or had a skydiving accident, but never truly revealed what happened.
Crazy, we're both a little banged up.
Okay, what happened to you?
I fell off a building.
They were all just jokes.
I was in a skydiving accident. Chute didn't open.
I was in a lot of pain,
Oh my God,
and that's
bro.
how I
Looks like
choose to
he has
cope with
PTSD
my
even
pain.
saying
I
it.
fell down off my balcony, 12 stories high.
To add to the chaos behind the scenes, David was facing backlash for another controversy, including Vlog Squad member Dirty Dom, who was accused of R-wording a woman that was featured in one of David's 2018 vlogs. The video centered around Dom attempting to arrange a three-way, and the woman claimed she was so intoxicated that she could not consent. She later asked for the video to be removed, but by then, it had already amassed over 5 million views. David addressed the controversy by releasing multiple apology videos and removing Dom from the Vlog Squad. And after almost 10 months of Jeff not really answering what had happened to his eye, he finally decided to tell his subscribers what happened the day of his accident. He released a multi-part documentary on his YouTube channel that tells the entire story, with one small caveat. David was heavily involved in the editing process, as Jeff still wanted to protect him and avoid portraying him negatively.
I regret doing this too, but this is me being a loyal friend. I let him pass through the edit of the doc and take out anything that made him look bad. And that day I came home from surgery, I was sitting on the couch, laying there with blood coming out of my eye on fucking anesthesia, completely a vegetable, and he came right in here, ran right into the editing bay, and all he cared about was editing to clean up the video to cover up that this happened.
Despite David's best effort to control the narrative, the reactions to the documentary were not in his favor. All I understood from this video is that skydiving is safer than being around David. Natalie jumped out of a plane 26 times just to have a break from David for a week. However, David probably imagined this was just some drama that would be over soon. He continued on with his upload schedule, and the two even made jokes about the situation.
I wanted to get you guys something.
Hold on a second. Yeah, call off the lawsuit. No, he's doing something.
Over the next year, Jeff was stuck reliving this nightmare, undergoing 7 eye surgeries. Meanwhile, David continued to see exponential success. He would get fed up with the public not knowing the real story and eventually published a tell-all episode of his podcast called Dear David.
My beef with David, the fact that he is a scumbag friend, a fake friend, now that the documentary's over, doesn't text me, doesn't check in. This last surgery, there was literally, the doctor said, we have to move your eye 3 millimeters. We're gonna do 2.5. So we have a half a millimeter of slack. That's this much to go blind, and I couldn't get a text. That's one reason. The other reason, him saying now, flipping the script, saying that, oh, it was Jeff's idea. He's crazy. Complete bullshit. That's number 2. Number 3, they were supposed to cover the hospital bills. They slacked because whatever they're doing, making stupid vlogs. They didn't pay attention to something that's, I would think it's pretty important here, because the bills go to my name, and our agreement was just cover the hospital bills. I don't care about anything else. But I got a bill that wasn't paid that I didn't know about because I'm not dealing with it. I have Ivan, my assistant, deal with it, and he goes with David's team, and they didn't pay a bill. I got an infraction on my credit now. I go to get a house, and I can't get a loan because now I have another. So it's just like things are piling up over and over again, and just try a little bit.
This podcast changed everything. Jeff's supporters thought this wasn't just an accident, this was a crime and needed to be pursued legally. And with the surmounting pressure towards David, he would ultimately choose to abandon his YouTube channel for years. Just before going dark, David made a calculated response not on his main channel, but on his massively less popular podcast called Views. He was willing to take some accountability, but he wanted to also refute some of Jeff's claims.
Like, this is not what happened. It was a combined decision we made, and it was a complete accident. And I'm so sorry that accident happened, but it did, and there's no going back from that. And then when it started to be like more 150% on me, I started to get, I don't know, I guess like it just freaked me out more. I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. And then in terms of his like medical payments, so far we've paid $78,000 of surgery, and I don't know what that equates to. I don't know what that is, but I don't love the fact that he's going around saying I don't pay for surgeries. Like, that hurts. Like, I want to help him. I
Sure.
really, truly do. And like, he still has my word.
He also doubled down on the stunt being Jeff's idea.
Jeff came up to one of my buddies and then later to me, and he was like, this is boring as shit. What are we, like preschoolers? Like, let's do something cool. And he said he wanted to swing from it. And I loved the idea. I was like, hell yeah, let's do it.
People were extremely disappointed and dissatisfied with David's response, as if he were trying to avoid taking any responsibility for the incident. David describing the incident as the worst thing that has ever happened to me and not the worst thing I've ever done is very telling. It was Jeff's idea, but I rented the machine, operated, filmed it, and caused permanent damage to Jeff. This is a prime example of responding to a controversy yet making everything worse. David tried to come off as personal and sincere and trying to inform the public of all the nuances of the situation, kind of like what we saw with Mr. Beast. But the public just didn't believe him. It could be his body language, his stuttering, his long and drawn out responses. The court of public opinion hates nuance. The more simple something can be addressed, the better. All he had to do was say, "This was all my fault, and I'm so sorry," and then behind the scenes handle all the medical bills on time and in full, and none of the outrage probably would have happened. But he didn't say that either for legal reasons or because he genuinely did not believe it was his fault and doesn't want to pay for the medical expenses. It's evident that David was trapped in this controversy with no way to get back in the good graces with the public. And after one last vlog episode on March 29th, 2022, David went completely dark on YouTube. Meanwhile, Jeff took legal action and filed a $10 million lawsuit in June of 2022, accusing David of negligence. According to the suit, Dobrik was negligent in operating the equipment at a dangerous speed and acted negligently in slowing the machine down suddenly, which caused the injuries to occur after Wittek collided with the equipment while swinging. Jeff wanted accountability, but David has not personally responded to the lawsuit, and through his lawyers, David responded by claiming that Jeff was also to blame. Dobrik has denied full responsibility, claiming that the stunt was Wittek's idea and that he had asked Dobrik to not disclose this fact. Abandoning his main channel, David migrated to another platform, Snapchat. On this platform, he is allegedly making as much as $10,000 a day while waiting for his controversies to fully blow over. Snapchat allowed him to stay active without facing the same level of public scrutiny. It doesn't have a comment section, so he could be completely isolated from controversy. Essentially, he was able to continue his lifestyle and flaunt it from his private corner of the internet. David even did a promotional video with Tom Cruise for the new Mission Impossible movie, acting as if his life is completely back to normal. And after a multi-year hiatus from YouTube, fans thought David would never return. And then suddenly, on January 7th, 2025, he uploaded a longer vlog that was 14 minutes and 20 seconds long, which showcased his body transformation. David did not address allegations or controversy, but just randomly uploaded the video. This could easily be interpreted as him testing the waters to see if fans are still mad at him. And if you read the comments, I'd say they don't care anymore. Brother casually dropped the toughest vlog out of anyone in the last 3 years. I cannot tell you how large my smile was when I saw a new video has been uploaded. It's been too long. My heart is happy. Around the same time, Meat Canyon released a satirical video responding to David's return. In the animation, a boy playing with an excavator toy drops a Jeff Wittek doll and then sees David in a sewer, parodying the scene from It. The boy makes an observation about David's character.
I'm a new person. Look, I'm different. I'm physically different. I'm different, right?
You know, David, not everyone's perfect, and I mean, we all make mistakes. If you're down here and feel guilty about something, I mean, you know you could come out and just admit it, right? Sitting down here in this sewer and showing kids your vlogs and your abs just, I don't know, just feels like you're avoiding something.
Jeff has continued to assert that they are going to court. David has repeatedly tried to get the case dismissed, but the trial date is still being decided. Even 5 years after the accident, Jeff is still making videos about this story, mostly because he has had 12 eye surgeries since the accident and lives in constant pain.
As time goes on, it seems to affect me more, and I want to be my old self. And I don't know what it's going to take to get back to that. And I don't know how I could put in your guys' heads what I'm experiencing every day. It's something that I'll deal with for life.
David's fans now think Jeff is milking the drama to try to remain relevant, but Jeff doesn't look at this as fleeting drama, as he might become blind in one eye because of this and wants justice. And while it seems like David is still trying to find his footing and could be preparing a return to his main YouTube channel, the same cannot be said for Cody Ko, who has seemingly abandoned his main YouTube channel after allegations of sleeping with a minor erupted last year. Cody Ko also started his career on Vine and then transitioned to making making commentary YouTube videos. He created an iconic series called That's Cringe, where he often went viral for calling out and making fun of nonsense on the internet. Not only were him and his co-host Noel Miller funny, but he gained attention for his honest and realistic takes, often being seen as an extremely unproblematic and likable YouTuber. Beyond his videos, Cody was also known for valuing health and discipline, having completed an Ironman marathon and documenting the entire process. By 2024, he was happily married with a child and had multiple multi-million-dollar business ventures. But in 2024, that wholesome image quickly began to unravel. During a live podcast tour, YouTuber Tana Mojo was asked about her past hookups. That is when she casually dropped a name that sent the internet into a frenzy, Cody Ko. She claimed that they had intercourse when she was 17, which would have meant that Cody was 25 at the time. As you can imagine, people on the internet started asking questions. Isn't this illegal? Isn't this at least a bit creepy?
Illegal.
What further corroborated the story was a potential witness, Gabby Hanna, who claims they did the act at a Playlist Live after party in Orlando, Florida in 2016.
There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17, and then we still went and hooked up.
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he was like, oh my god, thank you for telling me. And then he
Now, it is true that Cody, Tana, and Gabby were all at Playlist Live in 2016, as there is video footage of all of them attending the event. And because they were in Orlando, Florida, where the age of consent is 18, Cody, who was 25, engaging in sexual activity with Tana, a minor, can result in criminal charges even if consensual. The law states that anyone under 16 years old can't legally agree to any sexual activity, no matter how old the other person is. Also, if someone is 16 or 17 years old, they can't legally agree to activity with a person who is 24 years or older. Ever since the Me Too movement, the general public has rightfully taken these types of allegations more seriously. However, the key difference between this situation and others was that Tana had mixed feelings herself about the situation.
But I don't associate or hold it with trauma because I am such a comparative person where I'm like, so many worse things have happened to me. And that's bad.
I was just about to say you can't do that to yourself though.
Like, but I genuinely feel that way. Like it feels like all of the other people I hooked up with when I was 18, whether they were 30 or whether they were not 30 and they were my age.
Tana was not necessarily on a crusade to take down Cody Ko, but did recognize that the situation was a little messed up. And while she was publicly discussing this and fans were demanding a response from Cody, he remained silent. As the allegations gained more traction, Cody allegedly began filtering comments on his subreddit in an effort to control the narrative and bury the controversy.
At this point, your silence and censorship are a response with disturbing implications. The only thing that I've seen this hidden portion of your audience asking for is the truth, so why aren't you telling it?
LOL, he will never address it. He will just wait for it to die down, because honestly, addressing it will bring much more attention to it, especially for us. And I honestly believe he doesn't think he's in the wrong. He's probably thinking it was consensual and that the Canadian age of consent is 16, so that's where his mind/morality was at with it. Now, some people in Cody's situation would have completely ignored it and just keep posting videos and podcasts like nothing was happening. However, Cody made a few key decisions that made his own fans start to look at him as guilty. Firstly, Cody stopped posting completely on his main channel in June of 2024. He continued uploading on his second channel, Cody & Co., until July 13th, 2024, which coincidentally was the day before D'Angelo Wallace released his video breaking down the entire situation. After that, Cody took the rest of the year off. Shortly after, he announced that he would be stepping down from his role as a personality at TMG Studios. What has transpired over the past few weeks is a personal issue for him, and Cody wants to remove any effect this is having on your professional and personal lives and the work you and other hosts have done to make TMG Studios so successful. Many interpreted this as some sort of admission of guilt. If not guilty, why stop uploading? Why step down from the podcast? If not guilty, why not just address the situation and tell the truth? Remaining silent and stepping away from the internet immediately after the controversy made it obvious that he was just trying to wait for the controversy to blow over. And 6 months later, just before Christmas, when most people are not chronically online and spending time with their family, Cody randomly posted a video on his Cody Trains YouTube channel with 250,000 subscribers, where he makes videos videos about his passion for running, but fans could sniff out his PR strategy. Bro testing the waters on the smallest platform he has. Interesting tactic. At the end of this 20-minute video on his third channel, he kind of addressed the allegations.
Obviously, I understand I've been offline for months, haven't made videos for that whole time. And I also understand if your opinion of me has potentially changed over the last few months. I spent the first half of my career criticizing people and judging people online. So, I don't begrudge your judgment of me by any means. I just think all I can do right now moving forward is just try to be the best person I can be for myself and for my family, and just try to continue putting the best out there that I can.
But his detractors were not satisfied with this response. Cody, the reason people's opinion of you may have changed in recent months is not because you used to criticize and make fun of people online. It's because what you did is wrong. It's as simple as that. However, this was the only response Cody would give. And as 2025 rolled around, he posted more vlogs on his Cody Trains page, and the comment section began to slowly turn from negative to positive. Then he took one step up and started posting reaction videos on his second biggest channel, Cody & Co. These are videos that he would normally post on his main channel, but he knew the comment sections would be flooded with criticism, so he strategically posted on his second channel to again not expose himself to his main audience. And the comments were kind of critical, but most of them were making jokes and not necessarily demanding a response to the allegations. Cody began uploading consistently, getting around 1 million views per video, and watching the comment section turn to all positivity. Cody has seemingly left his main channel in the dust. I guess he still feels like if he uploads to his 6 million subscribers, that his detractors will flood the comment section with his allegations, and his mainstream audience will learn about his controversy. He even recently launched his own oatmeal product and has been heavily marketing it. That second stream of income is likely needed since he abandoned his main channel. It seems like Cody's core audience forgave him, or never thought that he was wrong in the first place. Cody is now married and a father, so fading into a smaller, more loyal audience after over 10 years on YouTube seems to be enough for him. Cody never took full accountability. Instead, he acknowledged the existence of the accusations without confirming or denying anything. This use of strategic silence allowed him to retain his core fan base, which may have been the most favorable outcome for him in the end. That said, Cody's career will likely never be the same, and his reputation seems to be somewhat smeared from the mainstream point of view. However, while Cody at least acknowledged his allegations, Brad Pitt remained dead silent about his horrible accusations from his ex-wife Angelina Jolie. His strategy was so effective that many people don't even know how most of his children denounced him, hate him, and have even removed Pitt from their last name. And that's because Brad Pitt doesn't want you to know any of this. On the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2003, the chemistry between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie was impossible to ignore. At the time, Brad was married to Jennifer Aniston, who was at the peak of her fame as Friends was still one of the most popular shows on television. Meanwhile, Angelina had just filed for divorce from actor Billy Bob Thornton and adopted her first child, Maddox, from Cambodia the year before. The contrast between Aniston's America's sweetheart image and Jolie's rebellious persona set the stage for one of the most talked about celebrity love triangles in pop culture history. When Brad and Jennifer officially divorced in 2005, public reaction was intense, splitting fans into Team Aniston and Team Jolie, a divide that fueled tabloid headlines for years. Brad and Angelina began dating soon after and quickly expanded their family, adopting 2 more children and having 3 biological ones. And they weren't just a celebrity couple, they were the celebrity couple, commanding a level of global media obsession rarely seen before. They became known as Brangelina and dominated the 2000s in film, fashion, and philanthropy. In 2011, they purchased a vineyard named Miraval in Provence, France for $31 million and won awards for producing the best rosé in the world. They seem to be a glimmer of hope for celebrity couples, that you can be extremely famous, successful, and have a happy marriage. But in 2016, that facade was completely destroyed. Angelina filed for divorce on September 19, 2016. She requested sole physical custody of their 6 children, which made the public suspicious. Days later, it was reported that Brad was under investigation by the FBI and Child Protective Services after an alleged incident involving him and their son Maddox on a private plane. During a private flight, Pitt allegedly became intoxicated and a heated argument erupted on the plane. Pitt choked one of the children and struck another in in the face and grabbed Jolie by the head and shook her. At one point, he poured beer on Jolie. At another, he poured beer and red wine on the children. Brad entered rehab and began living separately from the children and was only allowed supervised visits due to his struggles with addiction.
What I realized was I was running to things to avoid tough feelings, painful feelings. I just didn't know how to deal with them, and looking for anything I found that I use for escape, to escape those kinds of I guess difficult feelings. I don't know how better to describe it. I mean, that can be anything. That can be drugs, booze, Netflix, snacks, anything. I don't want to at this point to be running from anything. I want to sit in it. I want to feel it. I want to get through the rough night.
All of their children have since dropped the Pitt surname and now go by only Jolie. This became evident when Zahara, their eldest daughter, was seen rushing a sorority and introduced herself without using Pitt. Pax, their second eldest son, went even further. In 2020, he reportedly posted a rant on his close friend's Instagram story, which was then screenshotted and disseminated online, where he condemned his father in a response to Father's Day. He called Brad a world-class a-hole and wrote, "You have no empathy or consideration towards your 4 youngest children who tremble in fear of your presence. You should know that the FBI and the police dropped any criminal charges against Brad due to lack of evidence. It was agreed by all parties that criminal charges in this case would not be pursued due to several factors. The FBI report described Miss Jolie as conflicted on whether or not to be supportive of the charges related to the case. Angelina is vocal about the allegations, but she isn't necessarily on an all-out crusade to expose him. In an interview with The Guardian, Angelina was asked directly about the situation, but had a indirect way of answering it. The interviewer asked, "Are you talking about your divorce from Brad Pitt and the allegations you have made against him of domestic abuse?" She tells me she is sworn to silence. "Well, not if you're talking about the divorce and allegations." She nods. "And did she fear for the safety of her children?" This time she answers, "Yes. For my family, my whole family." Brad has remained radio silent on the matter, which has proven to be effective because many people don't even know these allegations exist. In interviews, press releases, and new business ventures, he is never with his children, never mentions his children, or talks about his family at all. You would think he is just a random single guy. Brad has chosen the strategy of letting lawyers do all the talking for him, or letting sources close to him respond to the press. For example, a source told Page 6, Brad may have been drinking and admits that he yelled at his son, but he insists he did not hit him or attempt to harm him. It was a confrontation that got out of hand. As Brad Pitt continues to speak only through his team, it shows the strength of this strategy lies in the ambiguity it creates. By not addressing the allegations directly, Brad maintains a sense of mystique around the situation. His silence allows the public to draw their own conclusions whether they believe he is guilty or not. However, with no direct statement from Brad, the public is left with nothing more than Angelina's account to shape their perception. Even if the majority believe Angelina, Brad's silence gives him the advantage of plausible deniability. In the absence of a clear denial or admission, many people default to giving him the benefit of the doubt. As he continues to remain silent, Brad's career has carried on uninterrupted. He is currently in a relationship with a model named Inez de Ramon and is regularly seen with A-list celebrities such as George Clooney and Leonardo DiCaprio. Brad is also still winning awards 30 years into his career. Most notably, he won Best Supporting Actor at the 2020 Academy Awards. He continues to star in major films, including the highly anticipated F1 movie releasing this summer, in which he plays the lead role and was reportedly paid $30 million. Reddit users have taken note of how effectively his team has managed public perception, with some even unaware of the allegations. I didn't even know there were allegations, to be honest. He's got a pretty remarkable PR team, honestly. Very little of it has really penetrated the public consciousness. So if this video gets deleted, you know why. And I do have to deal with deleted videos or copyright claims or blocked videos all the time. So just so you guys know, I do post on Spotify as a backup. YouTube is obviously still my main thing, but you can watch over there if you prefer Spotify. What's crazy is it took them 8 years to settle this divorce. The legal battle officially concluded on December 30th, 2024, and for the first time in nearly a decade, Brad responded. but barely. The interviewer asked, "Does anything feel different being on the other side of the divorce, finally being finalized?" I ask, "Is there relief?" Brad said, "No. I don't think it was that major of a thing, just something coming to fruition legally." So an 8-year-long divorce from the love of his life, who he built a pop culture empire and multi-million-dollar wine business with, as well as his children disowning him and removing his last name, was not that major of a thing. Damn. Brad Pitt is ice cold. But again, this is merely just a more professional PR strategy. Brad simply trying to downplay a major conflict and stay as silent as possible so the public doesn't go deep diving into his personal life and connecting dots that he thinks aren't there. And while it is clear that the silence has helped him avoid his career from spiraling out of control, there is another figure who takes this strategy to the next level. Despite mounting evidence, police reports, media coverage, and growing pressure from fans, he says absolutely nothing. That person is Playboi Carti. Playboi Carti has long been one of the most polarizing figures in music. He was a leading voice in the SoundCloud era, a movement that many struggled to accept due to its minimalistic and anti-lyrical approach. Nevertheless, Carti continued to build a fiercely loyal fan base that supported him unconditionally. That fan base turned into a cult following after the release of his third album, Whole Lotta Red. But the controversy surrounding him extends far beyond music. He has a long history of abuse allegations against women, stemming from a 2015 vlog clip where he describes beating up random girls at a gas station.
Going to gas station, I had on my skinny jeans and some bitch started laughing. I said, what the fuck y'all laughing at? I'm not saying, bro, you know? What y'all laughing at? What? Boom! Start tagging their ass. Look, start tagging their ass. We be breaking everything. You hear niggas, get out the stove. They call the police.
His ex-girlfriend from that time, Ruby Rose, described a time where he shot a gun in her general direction as an intimidation tactic.
He would come to my house, and I lived in the hood in Pittsburgh, and like people would shoot all the time, and he would like shoot off my balcony. But then like one time, we got in a little argument because I hid his phones before his flight, and it just was like we were outside. He like, it wasn't directly at me. It was just more like.
Okay, so before
in
this
the vicinity.
incident.
As fans celebrated the release of his Whole Lotta Red album, his ex-girlfriend, Iggy Azalea, who is also the mother of his first child, Onyx, did a 30-minute live stream to expose the character of the man that his fans idolize.
Please know these two people knew exactly what they were doing. You've been doing it while I was pregnant. This man didn't even come to see his son be born. He went to Philly to play the PlayStation with Little Uzi. He thought that was more important than seeing his son be born. And I had a scheduled C-section, by the way, because my son was so big.
Any other man missing their son's birthday would be seen as less than, but Carti stayed silent and never confirmed if this was true or not. What really showed how little Carti's fans cared about Iggy's complaints is that the fans would clip Iggy's live stream and sample her on the intro of a Playboi Carti and Uzi leaked song called Throw It Up. The remix accumulated over 400,000 views, and the comment section demonstrates that his fans thought these allegations made him look cooler. But in 2022, Carti was accused of much more serious crimes, including allegations of abusing and choking his pregnant girlfriend, Brandy Marion. According to the police report, the woman told police the rapper grabbed her by her throat and pushed her, holding her neck until she could barely breathe. She even told cops she thought she was going to die. According to reports, Carti allegedly assaulted Marion during an argument over a paternity test while she was pregnant with his daughter Eve. When the body cam footage was released, it showed Marion visibly distressed as she recounted the incident to police officers.
I'm just so shaken up, I can't even think straight. I'm just trying to think of what is really the right thing for me to do right now.
Well, he put your hands on you. Well, he put his hands on you, and you're pregnant. And you've been doing that for a while, correct?
Yeah, it's just the first time.
Okay, do you want to press charges on him? No? Or yes? Because if you don't, we can still do a report without pressing the charge, but it's going to just be documented that you called police out here because he touched you or assaulted you, sorry.
Can I eventually, like if I decide to, like when my head clears up, press charges, or would I have to do that?
No, you don't have to do that right now.
Carti was arrested, then booked on December 29th and released on a $100,000 bail. Carti would make no statements, but his attorney, Brian Steele, told TMZ, Mr. Carter was falsely accused. Pursuant to my communications with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, this case will be dismissed without any prosecution or litigation. As this controversy surfaced online, Iggy Azalea chimed in to let everyone know that Cardi was not present in his son's life. Imagine having a pregnant girlfriend and pretending they don't exist until it comes out you like to abuse them too, and rarely visiting your actual son unless it's because you're running from whatever problems you got going on in Atlanta and the press with your serial abuse of women. At the time, Cardi was working closely with Kanye West on Donda 2. Despite the severity of the allegations and the attention they received, Cardi chose to not address them. He continued appearing at the album's listening events, sporting the now iconic clown makeup that made him go viral, and any headlines about his arrest were largely ignored or overshadowed. Reddit users took notice of the situation, commenting, "How the hell did Cardi not get cancelled? He beat a pregnant woman up and then headlined one of the biggest festivals of the year. How?" Another user replied perfectly, "He's quiet and people forget things fast." Playboi Carti never addresses controversy and rarely says anything at all. For nearly 4 years, he barely posted on social media, didn't do interviews, and keeps his private life completely off the record. This silence isn't just avoidance, it's strategy. By saying less, he gives fans more to speculate about, fueling an aura that keeps his name in conversations without him ever needing to speak. He's like an abstract figure who exists more as a symbol than a man, and it's sad to say this, but him allegedly abusing women probably just adds to the aura that his fans praise him for. After all, his lyrics often portray women in a dismissive or controlling manner, looking at them as nothing more than sex objects. So fans wouldn't really be that surprised to find out he may actually be like that in real life. Following the allegations, Cardi continued to collaborate with major artists like Travis Scott, The Weeknd, and even pop stars like Camila Cabello and Madonna. Anticipation for his next album grew rapidly, becoming one of the most hyped releases in recent history. But due to Cardi's extremely cryptic approach to both his music and personal life, the allegations lost momentum. His silence allowed him to sidestep the controversy entirely, and when he eventually rolled out his new album, Music, Cardi reached the commercial peak of his career, selling nearly 300,000 units in a single week and achieving the 7th biggest streaming day of all time on Spotify, behind artists like Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, and Drake. Ignoring controversy entirely only works under the right conditions. If the public figure is too famous, or the evidence is too damning, and their comment sections or IRL interviewers are constantly demanding answers, they might be forced to speak. However, the next best thing to do is barely address it. And with so many celebrities constantly getting into trouble and drama news reporters needing new material, 99% of the time the celebrity just needs to be patient, keep working, let the backlash die down because the public will either forget or just stop caring.
What a video. Go light this up, chat. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know exactly what to do, bro. We only watch the best of the best shit here.